Hello YouTube, it's PS3GamingScotland here and welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are well and gaming lots. So in today's video, I'll be talking about PlayStation games. So if you're not aware, PlayStation has hit 25 years, well their anniversary of 25 years. It's a massive success in today's gaming industry and just about a company in general. So I thought for a celebratory video, I thought I'd look back at PlayStation's history, talk about the games that meant a lot to me for each of their consoles. I will talk about their main consoles, PS1, 2, 3 and 4, and also the handheld consoles of the PSP and PS Vita. So without further ado, before we get into the list, I physically can't pick every single game for every single console that I've played and that I have really good memories for. So if there's any game in this list or in these lists in this video that haven't been mentioned that you really enjoyed playing, or if you've got good memories of, then let me know down below in the comment section. I can't wait to hear and read all your comments down below. So without further ado, let's jump into my 25th anniversary of PlayStation celebratory video. So first up then, PS1. The PS1 in my opinion was one of my favourite ever consoles of PlayStation. They had some fantastic games, but the main ones I remember playing was Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped. Now this game was one of my first PS1 games I played. I really love the fact that Crash Bandicoot was a really universal, really fun PlayStation mascot. We obviously got the Crash Insane trilogy a couple of years ago, but Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped was the main game that I played back on the PS1. The levels were incredible. Got to each 5 levels there was different sort of themes, and after each level, once you got all the crystals, you got to beat the boss, and then you got 25 levels on the main sort of area, and then you got another 5 hidden levels underneath. We're getting a certain number of gems and a certain number of crystals. It was just, honestly, it was absolutely incredible. I loved playing Crash Bandicoot. One of my favourite all-time games ever. Let me know if you played the Crash Bandicoot games back on the original PS1. I just love the game. I just absolutely love it. So next up then we've got Spyro the Dragon, another PlayStation mascot which I absolutely enjoyed. I really enjoy revisiting the Spyro trilogy on PS4, but playing it on the original game, it was, memories are just exploding. I had a really fun time with the game, a really sort of chill game, go at your own pace, collecting all the gems of all the levels, finding all the dragons, all the eggs. In order to get the eggs you had to kill the wee guys in the blue sort of cloak. They were quite difficult at times, and yeah, and just exploring, having fun, and also the mini games, they were incredible. I had a fantastic time with them. Moving on to my next one was Tekken 3. Now that was my very first fighting game I ever played full stop. So I remember coming back from my cousin's house, I was introduced to Tekken 3 on the PlayStation 1. I had a fantastic time trying to unlock all the characters, and I think if you played as Eddie and you got to the final stage, you got a cool rendition of Eddie, a sort of more powerful Eddie, and you could have the action, time attack. Oh, it was absolutely incredible. I love playing Tekken. I'm a massive Tekken fan, but Tekken 3 on the PS1 for me personally was where it started, and where it started my Tekken journey. Absolutely incredible. Harang and Law and Jin were my favourite characters. King, I just couldn't use King, and Brian was a really underrated character as well. Really fun times for Tekken 3. Another game that I really enjoyed playing on the PS1 was Destruction Derby. Destruction Derby was a really fun arcade racer, but there was a mode in it where you were on like tops of roofs. I know you could play this type mode on GTA, but it all started on PS1 for me. So you got to be on different roofs. You could select your car, and you had to bash all the other cars off edge and be the last car standing effectively. Now you had different levels of this, and I remember playing with friends, just level after level, having so much fun with friends, and it was absolutely incredible. Really glad that they brought it back for the PS1 Classic. Really fantastic game. I've got really good memories of it. So next up then we've got the Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone PS1. I was a big Harry Potter fan as a child growing up, and to play the events of the first Harry Potter film in a game form on PS1 was incredible. I did try and play this game myself, got stuck in a couple of sections, but then I went back and played it with one of my childhood friends, and we got to the very end and we completed it, and it was just incredible. As I said, another fantastic gaming memories. You had the main school, you had the Forbidden Forest section, you got to speak with Hagrid in his hut, you got to go and visit the Gringotts Bank, where they had quite fun sort of roller coaster sort of theme on, like the minecart, collecting different things. You had Fluffy the three-headed dog boss fight, you had the chess section, and it was a really fantastic game. Earning points as you played through the game genuinely was tremendous. And we had quick entry here, Motocross Mania. Now this was a really fun arcade dirt bike racing game where you got to race on different environments throughout the world. The motocross or supercross game for the PS PS Plus is very similar to that original game. Had so much fun playing that game. So now on to the PS2, the trilogy of the GTA games, GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas. Absolutely tremendous fun using cheats. GTA 3, I did a video a few years back on the channel. Really just fun to go back and mess around, try to get rid of your 5-star wanted level. But it was a really difficult game. The controls were very difficult to use going back to it. But I will hopefully go back and get the platinum in it. It was a really fun, enjoyable game. Vice City was where it was at. Trying to unlock all the different mansions going throughout the game was a real awesome piece of fun. I've really enjoyed GTA Vice City. One of my favourite GTA games. The sort of 1980s retro sort of vibe really added to that game. Also, Danny Dyer is one of the bar owners in a few of the missions in this game. He voices one of the characters in this game. The collectibles, I really enjoy getting the collectibles, playing the missions, and unlocking one of the mansions in one of the islands. I think it was Starfish Island, I believe. I had fantastic fun using cheats, mucking around with friends, and yeah, I couldn't rate the game highly enough. And obviously San Andreas, the big fight against Bigfoot, that was tremendous. Flying planes and jets and using RPGs and trying to blow this Bigfoot character up was tremendous. Really had a lot of fun playing the missions with friends, and also using cheats with the jetpack. The jetpack and the money cheat were tremendous fun. Just mucking around, having fun with friends, absolutely brilliant. Next up was a racing game called RC Revenge Pro. This was a single player racing game. It had 4 or 5 levels in each of the sort of, it had different themes. It had like a haunted house theme, had like a water park theme, maybe I think it had like a desert theme, and there were a couple other themes which I can't remember off the top of my head. And you had to go around and basically if you kept winning races, you kept unlocking the characters in the game, and in order to get the 2 remaining characters, UFO and Concept 3000, you had to beat all the time trials in every single race in the game, which unfortunately I didn't do at the time because I didn't really have a lot of time with the time trials. But my friend of mine, childhood friend of mine, played all the time trials and got UFO and Compact 3000, who were the 2 fastest racers in the game. Really had some fantastic memories of that game. Now, Lord of the Rings Return of the King, this was another game. A massive Lord of the Rings fan. So in the Lord of the Rings Return of the King, it's a game adaptation of the 3rd film in the original trilogy. You got to play through the single player campaign, going through all the battles of the main part of the film, either solo or couch co-op with a friend. And me and my friend would always go through, replay the levels of the film, as we're massive Lord of the Rings fans. But also there was a co-op part of the game towards the end where you had to rank up all characters to level 20 just by playing through the co-op single player game. And there was also 20 waves of different challenges, of starting off with really easy enemies, going up through to even more difficult enemies. And if you got that, I can't remember exactly what you got for beating wave 20 with a friend in the new co-op sort of wave mode. That was absolutely tremendous. They really have to remaster this game. Lord of the Rings Return of the King for PS2, absolutely tremendous, a lot of fun. So next up then we had Need for Speed Most Wanted. I really am a big racing game fan. Now Need for Speed Most Wanted was, you started off, it was an open world, semi-open world game. You raced, you did upgraded your cars, unlocked cars by doing races, and after a certain time there was like 13 or 15 racers on the blacklist, and you had to beat them almost like boss races in order to unlock the cars. And you had to start off at level 15, and as you progress through the game you got better and better, and then you got to unlock all the different characters and cars to race in different races if you beat them in their race. It was quite difficult, but it was really fun and enjoyable, trying to get away from the police, using traps and stuff throughout the main level. That was really tremendous. Got a lot of fantastic memories from the PS1 and PS2 days. So next up, this is a game that has to get remastered, and that's the Simpsons Hit and Run. Simpsons Hit and Run was, oh my god, absolutely tremendous. It was split into 7 levels, each playing a different character. Bart, Homer, Marge, I want to say, Apu, Grandpa, and so yeah, so each sort of area you got to earn coins, collectibles, do the missions, unlock the different cars. That was the most fun, unlocking all the different cars in Simpsons Hit and Run. That was just tremendous. I thoroughly enjoyed unlocking all the cars. But there was a mission on level 5 where you had to get something for Snape. You had to go and literally race back to the very other end of the map with Snape. That was a most difficult mission, that was. I had tremendous fun playing Simpsons Hit and Run. And how can I forget Ratchet and Clank? Now, Ratchet and Clank for me was one of my first games on the PS2. They recently remastered the PS2 version for PS4. Highly recommend you play it if you haven't already. It's absolutely brilliant. It's a really good collectathon game where you collect bolts, and there's hidden sort of mini games within each sort of level, killing a variety of missions. But the real fun is unlocking all the weapons in the game and ranking them up to the highest level they can be, and also trying to find all the different pieces of equipment as there's a lot of backtracking to get like all the golden bolts and just unlocking every single weapon in the game. It's fantastic. I had a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see what Insomniac do for another Ratchet and Clank game. Hopefully they bring a new one back out on the PS5. So now we'll be talking about the PS3. So these are the games that I remember playing and have the most fond memories of. Now, how can I forget Uncharted 1, 2 and 3. This trilogy, obviously it's got 4 on PS4, I'll talk about that in a minute, but the first 3 games were incredible. I really enjoyed Uncharted. It really opened the sort of single player narrative genre with really good action packed sequences, really awesome characters to play. Nathan Drake was a really fantastic PlayStation mascot in my opinion. Had a lot of fun in the Uncharted 1 and 2. Uncharted 3 wasn't as great, but I really enjoyed it nonetheless. I always remember when the release date of Uncharted, the very first Uncharted in the series, came out. I remember on the day, me, mum and dad and my friend were all waiting in line at my local game shop. Now, game back then were called Electronics Boutique, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe that's what they were called back then. And I remember the queue was right the way round the shop, out the door, into the shopping centre for just this one game. It was hectic. The queue was at least an hour long. Me and my friend and my parents were right at front, and we were one of the first people in the area to get our hands on Uncharted, the very, very first game of the franchise, and what a franchise it's become. I'll be going on to talk about Uncharted 4 when in the PS4 section of this video. Yeah, but Uncharted, absolutely incredible franchise. Characters, cutscenes, gameplay, just absolutely incredible, and one of my most favourite franchises of all time on PlayStation. So next up then we have FIFA Street. Now FIFA Street, for anyone that doesn't know, is, everyone's heard of FIFA, but FIFA Street was owning your skills on the street, playing football on the street in different locations around the world. And in this game you got to create your own character and upgrade him or her as you progress through the main story. Now if you unlocked players for your team by beating other teams, there was a recent update into FIFA 20 for like a new FIFA Street Edition mode in FIFA 20, but this whole game was a full length game. It was tremendous, absolutely incredible. The skills that you had to learn to beat the best teams were difficult, but it gave you that thing to look forward to. You got XP, you got new players, and it was really exciting unlocking new players as you progress through all the different areas and cities around the world. I highly recommend, if you haven't played FIFA Street series or FIFA Street in general, try and get yourself a copy of it. But that's another game that I would love to see make a comeback in the future. Now this game was very unique, made by Media Molecule, and that was Little Big Planet. I had hours upon hours of fun with friends and on my own and online, going through the main levels in the story. What made this game special was you could create your very own levels for other people to play online. Now there was a couple of trophies associated with getting a certain number of plays or hearts or likes for each of your levels. That was quite difficult, but the whole sheer love and attention and to detail and care that was put into Little Big Planet, and obviously Little Big Planet 2 and 3, but I'm mainly focusing on Little Big Planet in this video. Really had a lot of fun collecting all the collectibles and wee bubbles, and just it was hours of entertainment at your fingertips. Really highly recommend Little Big Planet, tremendous fun. And it was first in its kind, I believe, that got you to create your own individual levels, which is really incredible. Now obviously Call of Duty, a massive Call of Duty fan, and majority of the really classic games, the highlight of the golden era of Call of Duty was on the PS3. Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1 sort of era. These games were incredible, but the only downside to Modern Warfare 2 was the one-man army noob tubes and the intervention sniper, which you quick scoped and you could kill people in one shot. Rust was one of my favourite maps in that game, and if you had an argument with your friend in school or in college, you knew Rust was a 1v1 situation was about to start. And I had a lot of Rust gameplays and games on that map. That map was incredible. Try to 360 off the top of the main sort of bit in the centre was incredible. Throwing knives were really good. Try to get the over the map shot with the throwing knife, they were incredible. And just had hours of fun getting to max prestige with friends online, and the Spec Ops was incredible. But Modern Warfare 3 did improve on Modern Warfare 2, because on Modern Warfare 2 you had to have a friend online to play the Spec Ops mode, whereas in later editions of Modern Warfare 3 you could just search for different missions online to get 3 stars. But they were hours of fun, and they were really difficult getting the 3 stars and all the modes, and I'm really yet to experience a full Spec Ops mode in Modern Warfare currently. But Modern Warfare 2 was absolutely tremendous. It did have its downsides going back to it a few years ago, but I highly recommend Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1. They were the really best fun games of the Call of Duty franchise. Talking of another first person shooter, Battlefield Bad Company 2. Oh my my god, this game was incredible. The single player campaign was absolutely fantastic, and the multiplayer was similar to Call of Duty, but it was very realistic and it was in a modern day sort of setting. DICE did a fantastic job with this game. Hope they bring back Battlefield Bad Company 2 back as a sort of updated HD remaster. I would be buying that day one. That is tremendous. And finally but not least, The Last of Us, one of the biggest games, one of the biggest single player games of the decade, of the generation of PlayStation, full stop. This game has been critically acclaimed. It's one of my favourite games of PlayStation the last 25 years of the decade. Oh my god, the opening of this game is so heart-wrenching and one of the most memorable. Like, I've not played The Last of Us since 2013, 2014 when it was remastered onto PS4, and I still remember majority of that single player campaign. I still remember bits and pieces of it, and it's just really remarkable that it's stayed the test of time. I hope to go back and platinum it, but that is just absolutely incredible. I loved playing it, and the multiplayer was really fun as well. I really need to go back and re-experience the multiplayer, as the servers were shut down for that and the other Uncharted games on the PS3, so the only way to play multiplayer is on The Last of Us on PS4. So just absolute incredible game, incredible story, incredible characters. Graphics were pretty good for back in the day as well, and I cannot wait for The Last of Us Part 2 to come out in May. Like, I'm a bit disappointed it was delayed, but if it means the game is going to be the best it can be in May, then so be it. Take all the time you need, Naughty Dog. I cannot wait to play The Last of Us Part 2. We're now going on to the PS4. So previously mentioned the Uncharted series, big fan of that. Uncharted 4 2016 was where it was at, where in my opinion Uncharted 2 was the level of Uncharted games that they had to beat, and I'm pretty certain Uncharted 2 is one of my favourite games in the series, but Uncharted 4 is also up there as one of the best games of Uncharted. The graphics were incredible, the characters were incredible. Coming out of retirement, you got to play the Crash Bandicoot game in one of the early missions in the game. I just highly recommend you play it, and that really cool dynamic with Nathan Drake's brother, you get to see the background as to how they became brothers and what happened, and it's just honestly one of my favourite games Naughty Dog have ever made. Highly recommend if you haven't played it to play it. Tremendous fun, just absolutely incredible. So another fantastic game of this generation for PS4 was God of War. Now, prior to this game releasing in 2018, I had never played a God of War game, and I wasn't a fan of the franchise or series whatsoever. So the fact that as a new player to the game and as a new fan of the game, it was absolutely tremendous. After playing the game, I thoroughly enjoyed playing the single player linear action packed gameplay where you could do puzzles and upgrade your axe and upgrade your health and all the sort of RPG elements, taking on the Valkyries, which were very difficult. Currently, because of the Valkyries, I've not been able to platinum the game as of yet, but I definitely want to go back and re-experience what was such a fantastic game of the last 25 years, God of War. I really want to go back and get my platinum here, and I cannot wait to go back and play it a second time, as I thoroughly enjoyed playing every single second. Now, next up we have Days Gone. Now, Days Gone brings together two of my favourite types of games, open world games and zombie games. So put them two together and you've basically got Days Gone. Now, Days Gone is a survival sort of horror open world zombie game, or freaker game as they want to call the zombies in this game. It's absolutely tremendous. You play as Deacon St. John, something happens, the outbreak really is bad at the start of the game, something happens to your wife, I'm not going to spoil anything, and you go on a quest with Boozer, your best pal, and your biker gang go on a quest to try and find out what happened to your wife. It really is relatable, it really is horrendous, the stuff you have to go through in this game just to find out and just to get answers to what's happened to your wife. Won't spoil the ending, won't spoil what happens in it, but it really is fantastic. And also the hordes, new gaming mechanic of the zombie hordes throughout the end game content, absolutely incredible. You get a massive napalm sort of firebomb thing towards the end of the game, which you can use to destroy lots and lots of different hordes. It's a really fun action-packed game where you have to scavenge for items, and honestly it's absolutely incredible. Highly recommend you play it if you haven't already. We had lots of fun, and they've also added in new single player content for you to enjoy, which I haven't had a chance to go back to as I've had such a fantastic time with the game, and also there's so many games to play. But anyway, Days Gone is a must buy for this PS4 generation. And talking of a must buy, Resident Evil 2 Remake. Now, this is one of my favourite games of 2019. It is incredible. What Capcom have done here is outstanding. Totally remaking a game from 1998, I believe, and bringing it back for a modern day audience. Absolutely incredible characters. Leon Kennedy, a rookie cop, one his first day on the job, and Claire Redfield looking for her brother, try to come together in what is a fantastic game. The jump scares, the puzzles, and Mr. X, it really add to the overall sense of visceral horror and scary jump scares. Come across a variety of clickers and a variety of different enemies in this game. I really highly recommend the single player story, and it's just absolutely incredible. I love playing this game. I spent 2 months solid playing this game to get the platinum, and what they've also done for replayability, if you beat the game in under 2 hours 30 on the highest difficulty, you get unlimited ammo RPG, which unfortunately I wasn't able to get, as it just took just over that mark, or just over the time limit to get it, but I did get the unlimited pistol, which really helps, and the puzzles were incredible. Just the whole thing packaged together was incredible. And also we've had rumours, I don't know if they've been confirmed yet, but Resident Evil 3 remake was leaked on PlayStation Store last week, so I don't know if we'll be hearing more at the Game Awards or whether we'll be hearing more about the new state of play for Resident Evil 3. Sony's newest state of play is coming 10th of December, I believe, so we'll hopefully see more about the Resident Evil 3 remake. Cannot wait for that. Hopefully that'll be just as good as Resident Evil 2 remake. I really am excited for 2020. 2020's got a lot of games to come out. I really can't wait to play. We're talking of another PS4 game, Red Dead Redemption 2. I was a fan of the original game, Red Dead Redemption, on the PS3, and also Red Dead Revolver, I believe, on the PS2. I believe it was on the PS2. But anyway, Red Dead Redemption, really fantastic open world game. The attention to detail in Red Dead Redemption 2 was outstanding, absolutely incredible. I really had a massive, brilliant time playing this fantastic game. I cannot speak of this game more highly enough. It was absolutely incredible. The missions were very varied. The attention to detail was brilliant. The fact you could get your own wee horse and talk to all the different characters in your sort of posse, that was incredible. And hours of entertainment. I've not had the chance to play the online, as the online doesn't really appeal to me, but as a single player story game, absolutely incredible, and I highly recommend it if you haven't played it. The only downside I would say is the very ending, the last sort of part, the prologue of the game, is too long in my opinion, but it does show you the sort of outcome of what happens after the end of the game and you sort of settle back into normal life. I won't spoil what happens or whatever, but tremendous game. One, definitely a game that I recommend. And last but not least, the final game for PlayStation 4 has to be Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider games. I've played a lot of the Tomb Raider games throughout all the generations of console, from PS1 to PS4. Lara Croft is a really strong, powerful female character that does definitely kick butt and represents PlayStation and the overall brand of PlayStation extremely well through a lot of awesome fighting scenes throughout each of the games. But the best trilogy, in my opinion, is the current one on PlayStation 4, starting with Tomb Raider Definitive Edition in 2013, but Rise of the Tomb Raider in 2016, I think it was delayed to 2017 I believe, and finally the Shadow of the Tomb Raider in the last, was it 2018 I believe. These three games were tremendous. The first game was the best in the trilogy, Rise of the Tomb Raider was okay, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider really finished it off, going back to its roots and just seeing a bit of stuff about Lara's childhood leading up to the death of her father, and just going on a fantastic journey, really tremendous. And the only downside I would say is going through the game on veteran. The final boss fight was very difficult, but eventually got there, and I have to say this PS4 generation has been one of the best generations of all time. Yeah, so they are the PS1, 2, 3 and 4 games that I have played. Now we can't finish this video without talking about the handheld consoles. I'm not the massive handheld console fan, but PSP and the PS Vita are two of my favourite handheld consoles, full stop. So talking first about the PSP, I had some really good memories of this game, Burnout Legends being one. I like the fact you could drive around, upgrade your car, do different races and just have a lot of fun. But the only downside to the PSP is it only had one analog stick. Now that did hamper some games, but we'll talk a bit more of the positives of the PSP. So the PSP was tremendous, the first generation, really good screen, and I had a variety of awesome games. I did do a PSP collection video a few months ago on the channel for you to have a look at of all the games that I've played on the PSP. Here are just a couple of them. So GTA Liberty City Stories is a fun spin-off of GTA franchise. It's fantastic, it's got a lot of missions, it's just incredible. There's a lot of single player content in this game, and I highly recommend you play it if you have a PSP. Talking of another PSP game, Virtua Tennis World Tour. I'm a big tennis fan. I really like that you could create your own person and sort of do the mini games and rank up and play with people around the world, and just play with the computer to try and be #1 best ranked tennis player in the world. I really had a lot of fun doing the mini games, but it does get harder as you play play. And finally, we had Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest. Now this is a movie adaptation game of the film of the same name. You go through the main events in that film. Really highly recommend if you're a big Pirates of the Caribbean fan. It is a really good fun game, very linear story driven game. You play as Jack Sparrow, you meet all the sort of main characters throughout the main film, and you do a lot of puzzles and sort of fetch quests, and it's just tremendous with collectibles and things alike. Finally, and last but no means least, the PS Vita. I'm an absolutely massive fan of the PS Vita. There has been a lot of fantastic games over the years to collect for. I'm a massive collector of the PS Vita and the PS Vita games. Here are just 2 games that I've been able to pick up and ones that I've really thoroughly enjoyed. I did do a video back in 2018 of PS Vita outlining the pros, the 5 good reasons why you need to own one, and I spoke about a couple of the games, but the main ones here are going to be Uncharted Golden Abyss. Now this is my favourite Uncharted game on the PS Vita. I think that's the only one actually, but I think they should be porting this game over onto current generation PS4. I would love to see a Golden Abyss port on the PS5 in the future. The only thing that let it down was the sort of the back panel for the R2 and L2 buttons, but I did have 2 analog sticks that really did make a difference when you were fighting enemies in Uncharted Golden Abyss, and one, I think it was a launch title I believe, but that game that I highly recommend and that you have to play if you own a PS Vita. I love Most Wanted, Need for Speed Most Wanted so much that I got it again for the PS Vita. Really fantastic port of the PS2 version. The graphics are fantastic and the multiplayer from what I play really fun. Now for all these multiplayer games I'm going to talk about, I don't know, I've not played the multiplayer games for the PS Vita games for a long time, so I don't know if you will still be able to access the multiplayer part of the game, as I don't know if many people are playing unfortunately, but I had a couple of experiences at friends' houses when we played their PS Vitas of the multiplayer for some of these games, and it was really fun, but I did have to wait quite a long time to get into it, which is unfortunate, and I feel that's unfortunately just part of the PS Vita nowadays in 2019, so bear that in mind if you are wanting to play these games on multiplayer or just want to just buy these games in general. But I do highly recommend you get them as they are fantastic. So I did talk about Most Wanted, Need for Speed, the Golden Abyss, Uncharted, the Call of Duty port, Declassified. It really is tremendous having the 2 analog sticks there on the console, really tremendous. Killzone, Mercenary, Unit 13 and Resistance, Burning Skies all feature in my video that I did in 2018 of the PS Vita. I did outline the awesome features such as remote play. That is one of the best features, where you can play PS4 games on your Vita and vice versa, and you can use it as a second controller. PS Vita is one of my favourite handheld consoles, full stop, and one of my favourite handheld consoles that Sony have ever produced, so I'm kind of sad that they're not at this stage going to be pursuing maybe like a PSP or PS Vita 2. Happy 25th anniversary, and have a very happy birthday this week, celebrating your 25th year as a company from a massive hardcore PlayStation fan. Finally, before we end this video, I just want to say thank you very much indeed to Sony for creating such fantastic high quality PlayStation exclusives over the last 25 years. I have enjoyed every single second and I cannot wait to see what's next. But anyway, that has been my 25th anniversary celebration video for PlayStation. Talked about PS1 games, 2 games, 3 games, 4 games, PSP games and PS Vita games. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section of what games have been your favourite over the last 25 years for PlayStation. Thank you very much indeed for watching. I've been PS3GamingScotland and I'll see you on another video. Thanks very much indeed guys. Bye bye.